Hey guys, Pete here. This is going to be my Mr. Robot Season 3, Episode 6 recap and review. I haven't really looked at anything about the show yet, and I'm going to be honest that there was a point, I thought it was a great episode, but there was a point during the middle of it where I was wondering what the hell was going on. I liked all the character tension and I liked all the way that they were all going towards their goal, but everybody had different things that they were trying to accomplish. But something felt off about it and I was starting to worry, but in the end it turned out to be really cool. The ending wrapped things up in a way that it all made sense to me, and I've left the room after watching thinking that, man, that was pretty cool. So the episode starts off with a flashback and we see Angela as a child. It's a strange gathering where her mother knows she's going to die, so she's throwing a party, a farewell party for herself. There was a bit of strange foreshadowing in this, there was it almost made you think that they were trying to make us wonder if that she has a Mr. Robot of her own because of what her mother said to her. Also, of course, there was the Back to the Future cartoon that was playing. But I think the real takeaway here was Edward Alderson asked her to look out for Elliot and give him a push when he needed one. And then we cut back to present time where we see them in that confrontation from the end of last episode. We see that these two childhood friends that are connected forever with a bond that's about losing both of their parents to this corporation. They've both tried to right that in their own ways. We can see at this point in time they are diametrically opposed. Neither one of them can see the big picture. Elliot just wants to stop people from losing their lives. Angela just wants justice. And it ends in them in uncertain territory, to say the least. He knows that she had manipulated his other side, his Mr. Robot side. He finds out that she's been in contact with Whiterose, which is distressing for him, and we see why later. But she's a true believer at this point, and he knows it. But there's bigger things that he has to deal with, and he heads across town to try to stop the explosion himself. In that transition from building 1 to building 2, he tips off Darlene about Tyrell's location at the Red Wheelbarrow. This gets passed on to Dom and her partner, Norm. They try to take it to Santiago, but of course, Santiago doesn't want to do anything because he works for the Dark Army. And, it stands out at this point that Dom is bright. She's exceptionally bright. She's shown herself to be that. By the end of this episode, she must have serious concerns about Santiago's loyalties. There's no way that she could miss that. It's pretty clear that every time she wants to make an attack towards them, something that'll benefit their investigation against the Dark Army, he gets in the way. Eventually, Dom can't stand to sit at her desk and let it go. She gets a call from Darlene, and that kind of sets her off, and her and Norm go to surveil the place themselves. They go right to the Red Wheelbarrow. And from that point on, the episode sort of switches back and forth between Elliot and Dom. Dom really doesn't even know about the tight time frame that she's dealing with here. She just wants to find Tyrell and is afraid that he'll flee. But Elliot's up against a very serious timeline because he knows that the building's going to come down. And as he's arriving, he realizes his bomb threat deal didn't work at all. They were putting the people back inside the building. So you have them both going after their goal, and it lines up pretty good. The intensity lines up pretty good. At the same time, because Dom went to her superior, Santiago, and he contacted Irving, Tyrell is pretty much screwed. He's expecting that this attack's going to go off and he's going to get whisked away to Kiev with Joanna, and Irving, in his silence, lets him know that that's not going to happen. He hands him some instructions that we never find out what's actually inside those, and he ends up he tells him to burn them after he reads them, and in the process of doing that, that gets Dom inside because of the smoke from the fire. So Tyrell's on the run, and Elliot is starting to glitch with Mr. Robot taking minutes and seconds, anything he can from him to stop him from the building exploding. And while I thought this was interesting at first, it started to drag on me a little bit. And that's the part I was saying where I wasn't sure how I felt about the episode. In retrospect, like I said, it's pretty brilliant because it built up this idea in my head at the time of why is this even happening? We know Elliot's not going to get blown up inside the building, so why are they dragging this out so long? So, yeah, that was my initial take at the time. I did love the part whenever they were going down the hall and he was literally bashing himself off of things, though. I mean, that was funny. And then, of course, it was great when they finally started to talk on Notepad to each other. What's cool about it, though, is that no one actually knows what's going down. We see Whiterose and Price at Mar-a-Lago, which was a funny bit. It was a little bit overdone, I think. I think just the Mar-a-Lago napkin and the mention of the decor would have been enough to make that funny. I think they took it a little bit too far and kind of made it like shtick at a point. But anyways, it was good. I'm glad they put it in there. Those two are meeting. We have no idea what's in their heads, but we think that Whiterose is trying to blow up this building just to piss off Price after Price got him his vote for the Congo. Turns out Angela believes Irving that they're going to evacuate the building. That's not happening. Elliot believes that they're going to blow up the building, and then his alter, Mr. Robot, believes that they need to blow up the building. So there's all this tension and all this insanity, and then you have Darlene showing up at Angela's place, but no one out of anybody that I just mentioned actually knows what's going down. So that was very cool, and I definitely give them credit for laying it out like that, because we see what happens. Mr. Robot finds out that the documents aren't actually there. As a team, him and Elliot get into the room and save that building. It feels like a season finale moment of a cheesy TV show where everybody, everything is set. We know it's episode 6, so it's not the season finale, and you're wondering what's going on. Even Elliot's little talk about what will Mr. Robot do doesn't have that much real impact until after what he sees when he walks down the street. And the same with Darlene and Angela. When they're talking, you're like, well, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, she's not going to turn Angela in. Angela isn't going to turn. So there's all this cool stuff going on. And then Angela and Darlene both get alerts on their phone, and I didn't even know what that was. Like, when we were watching it the first time, I was clueless as to what that indicated. I was like, are they trying to make it out like, I don't know. I had no idea. I was just like, why did they stop and look at their phones? And when Elliot goes outside, this music that's been pretty consistent with the action genre and the end of a high tense car chase or something like that, it goes silent as Elliot sees the TV and sees what the real deal was and who's really in charge. And that is Whiterose. So it was another good episode. It really was it took me on a journey. I mean, Tyrell is in custody. I don't really know how that's going to play out. I don't know if he was supposed to do that or we don't know. We don't have any idea what was inside that letter. So I'll be interested to see what you guys think about that. Angela is kind of the key at this point. If you really stop and think, she's kind of the key of the whole thing because she's the only one that truly will support Whiterose blindly at this juncture. Mr. Robot is going to want to continue to destroy ECorp. Angela's going to want to continue to destroy ECorp. Elliot should theoretically want to destroy ECorp, although Whiterose may have superseded them on his list. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting place to be after mid-season. I think it worked pretty well coming off the crazy episode 5, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you turn on your notifications so that you'll know when I upload new Mr. Robot videos. I'm going to try to get some extra bonus videos in this week. Didn't really have time for it last week, so make sure you follow along on my Twitter account, and you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram too if you'd like. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.